Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. My name is Arieza. I'm from the C class of English majors at Vidyatama University, and at this occasion, I would like to talk about the bubonic plague, or so-called the Black Death. Now, what is the Black Death? The Black Death was a devastating global epidemic of bubonic plague that struck Europe and Asia in the mid 1030s. It started off from a ship that goes across the trading routes near the Far East and the near that's called the Great Pestilence. There are a lot of symptoms about the Black Plague. Sorry. Some of them, which would includes fever, chills, unusual vomiting and diarrhea, terrible aches and pains, and then short order death. Blood and pus seeped out of the strange swellings, which were followed by a host of other unpleasant symptoms. Now, how does it spread? Well, it was spread in the most insignificant ways, such as touching of clothes. So, Bobbaccio wrote, appeared to itself to communicate the malady to the toucher. The disease was also terrifyingly efficient. People who were perfectly healthy when they went to bed at night could be dead in the morning. Now, no one exactly knew how Black Death was transmitted from one patient to another, or nor ways to prevent it or treat it. According to one doctor, for example, instantaneous death occurs when the aerial splints escaping from the eyes of the sick man strikes the healthy person standing near and looking at the sick. So, in conclusion, but there are too many ways for people to actually recognize the ways of the Black Plague to infect other people, to create an epidemic across the globe. But how do you treat it? Physicians rely on crude and unsophisticated techniques such as bloodletting and boil lancing, practices that were dangerous as well as unsanitary, and superstitious practices such as burning aromatic herbs or bathing in rose water or vinegar. Meanwhile, in panic, healthy people did all they could to avoid the sick. Doctors refused to see patients, priests refused to administer last rites, and shopkeepers closed stores. Even families often do not meet with each other. They live in total isolation with only themselves. Many people fled to the cities for a countryside from the countryside or the other way around. But even then, they cannot escape the disease and affected also animals such as cows, sheep, goats, cats, dogs, chickens, or anything that lives among us. In fact, so many sheep died that one of the sequences of the Black Death was a European wool shortage, and many people, desperate to save themselves, even abandoned their sick and dying loved ones. Thus doing, Boccaccio wrote, each thought to secure immunity for himself, or so we can call it, every man for themselves. They do not care anymore about other people, even those who they love, such as their wives, their kids, their parents. They just live for themselves. But how did the plague end? Well, the plague itself never really ends. It returns with a vengeance 800 years later. But officials in the Venetian controlled port city of Ragusa were able to slow its spread by keeping arriving sailors isolated until it was clear that they are not carrying any of the disease, creating a social distancing that relied on isolation to slow the spread of the disease. Well, the sailors initially held on their ships for 30 days, a period that was later increased to 40 days, or we can call it quarantine. But the big question is, does the Black Plague itself still exist in these days? Well, according to the Historic Channel, the Black Death epidemic had run its course by the early 1350s, but the plague reappeared every few generations for centuries. Modern sanitation and public health practices have greatly mitigated the impact of the disease, but have not eliminated. While antibiotics are available to treat Black Death, according to the World Health Organization, there are still 1,000 to 30,000 cases of plague every year. So the Black Plague never really disappeared from the world. It may still live among us, but it is not as deadly as how it used to be in the mid 1030s. The only thing that we can do about it, as well what we can do about the recent virus, the coronavirus, is only keep us from those who are sick, who are possibly having the worst disease of its own. So I think that will be all that I would like to talk about. I'm sorry for any inconvenience and any mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.